As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
There's no crying in baseball!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. Nice cliente.
That was totally wicked!
If I can change, and you can change, everybody can change!
And welcome to another episode of Your Next Favorite Movie. I am your host, Josh G. And today I am joined by the host of the Cinema Recall podcast. Please welcome the Vern.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Josh, for having me inside your wonderful studio here. We're being COVID safe. Don't worry, folks. I'm actually being safe right now. We're keeping our distance. Everything's fine. You don't need to worry. You don't need to call the cops on us. We're actually fine. We're keeping safe.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we're pretty far apart. We're in different time zones, so.
That's just safe then.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and tell everyone about Cinema Recall?
All right. Well, Cinema Recall is a surprise, a movie podcast, and we tend to focus on like cult features. We also do movie reviews as well. Sometimes we like to throw new things in there and do audio dramas. This month, we are doing a whole series of sexy dangerous women in cinema, which I'm calling Femme Fatale February. And we cover flicks like Basic Instinct and Seal Love and Bound and Last Seduction, just women who are dangerous and sexy and cool. Upcoming episodes will be Gilda with Nikki from In Bed with Nikki. And yeah, so it'd be very, very exciting stuff there.
All right, sounds good. So you went back and forth between a few movies, but ultimately you ended up with the movie from 2011. This is Joe Wright's Hanna.
Remember what I taught you, you'll be fine.
I live in Leipzig, population 0.7 million peoples. I go to school at the Klaus Gymnasium.
We need to keep this contained, gentlemen.
What else?
My best friend's Clara Schließ.
She killed 2 policemen.
I like literature and sport.
I tried to prepare you.
In particular, tennis and athletics. I don't really know who you are, do I? Come and find me.
Hanna, rated PG-13.
So when did you first see this film?
All right. Well, I saw this in theaters back in April of 2011. And before I knew anything about this movie, I just read an article that one of my favorite electronic artists is going to be doing the score, and that's the Chemical Brothers. I read that they're going to be composing the music to this movie, and I was like, oh, well, that's really kind of cool, because I loved what Daft Punk did with their score for Tron Legacy. Around the same time, too, I also loved what Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did for The Social Network back in 2010. So there's like this whole flood of like electronic artists who were composing scores for movies. And after watching Tron Legacy and seeing what Daft Punk did with that score, which was actually amazing, I was very intrigued about what the Chemical Brothers was going to do with the score for Hanna. And I saw a trailer of the flick, and just the image of Saoirse Ronan strangling that one woman and like breaking her neck and like doing all that weird gun action with the Chemical Brothers score. Like, okay, yeah, this is one that I definitely want to see. And I bought my ticket and went and saw it, and I was just like, whoa, this is pretty sweet.
All right, so I think so. For anyone that hasn't seen the movie, just give a brief synopsis of what Hanna is.
I'm not going to go into too much spoilers.
Right, I agree. That's what I hope to do. I just like brief synopsis.
Just a little taste here. I'm not going to give you the whole synopsis here. Just a quick little taste here. So Hanna is about this young girl named Hanna who's been trained by her father since birth. They're living out in this wilderness area, and one day she decides to find and kill the woman responsible for putting her and her father into hiding, because her father's told her about her mother, and her mother got killed by this other woman. So Hanna is just out for revenge, and her and her father split up, and she goes to find out where this woman is. The woman is Marissa Fiedler. She mentioned to the cast, Hanna is played by Saoirse Ronan. Her father, Eric Heller, is played by Eric Bana. And the woman that they are hunting is Marissa Fiedler, played by Academy Award winner Cate Blanchett. And I should say, Saoirse Ronan is also like Academy Award winner, Academy Award nominated actress as well. I mean, she was nominated, I know, back when she was like really young for the movie Atonement.
Oh, okay.
That was like one of the first movies she ever got nominated for. And recently she got nominated for Lady Bird. I know that.
Yeah, I thought she was nominated for Lady Bird, but I wasn't positive.
Yeah, and she was. And then she also had big stunts too in Little Women.
Right.
Also another Greta Gerwig picture. I think her and Greta Gerwig have been making, a couple movies together, and they seem to be like a good fit. Yeah,
I agree. So I'm with you. I don't want to go too much into spoilery detail. And I think with the way this movie ends, you can actually talk about a sequel without giving away the ending. So if you got to have a sequel, what would you have wanted to do? Like back then, 2012,
okay.
2013.
Well, it is kind of, when you watch the movie, I love the fact that it does kind of like abruptly end. There's no coda. Because most movies, after, the antagonist and the protagonist meet and they have a battle, usually there's something that happens afterwards, all right? And not so much in this movie, which I absolutely love about the fact that it just like cuts to the end, show the credits, bam, you're done. So my idea for a sequel is this, okay? So at the end, Hanna decides to find out more of who she is, okay? Her journeys lead her to other subjects, and this is where she meets an androgynous woman who has much more advanced skills and technology than her. The two team up and end up being reunited with Sophie and her brother, who were in the first movie here, who have been hiding after escaping from government officials who want to experiment on the young girl and use her aids for devious things. And so the four team up and they try to rescue Sophie's parents from a government compound filled with trained soldiers and other weird things happening. That's all I written so far. Just the idea of them having to go and attack. It's going to be a big, huge battle sequence. I want to have like this sequel will have like a lot more action to it. I love the action sequences in this movie. They're very memorable, but there's not that many of them. They're very good in what's in here. It's just very like not that much. It's missing on its quality, but in my sequel, I'm gonna have more quantity and have more action going on in there.
All right, you're gonna up the ante. I like it.
That's what sequels do, Josh. They up the ante. You gotta put more things in there. So I'm gonna have more of like Hanna fighting using like kung fu skills, gunfighting skills. It's gonna be just a different range of fighting in there. Not just kung fu, but like gun fu and just crazy things. And she's gonna be more athletic because she's older now. I like to use the same actress, Saoirse Ronan, in this. I think she could pull that off very well. She can train, be like the whole Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2, and just get really kind of buffed up and everything.
I like it. But now you cover movies. You know this as well as I do. It's been 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. That's hard to believe. It's been 10 years. But
I feel old.
And I know the feeling. Feeling. But in Hollywood, that's long enough. Now you got your task with doing the remake. They want new cast.
They want new blood.
Yes.
They want to take that tournament and just like squeeze all the blood out of it.
There you go. So who are we casting in this thing?
Okay, so my remake is going to be different. So in the remake, I'm changing the ages of the characters. Okay, to be a little bit older. So I've got Andrea Riseborough as Hanna. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, from Mandy.
Yeah, for Mandy, also Possessor was really good. And I've got Monica Bellucci as Marissa Vidler.
I really only know her from Irreversible, but I do.
And the Matrix sequels.
Oh, of course. I've seen it. Yep. I kind of forgot about those sequels.
Yeah, most everybody else does. But yeah, I saw her in that first movie, Monica Bellucci, the first Matrix sequel. I was like, oh, hello, wow, where have you been? My God. Beautiful woman, just stunningly beautiful. She's like in her late 50s and she still looks like freaking stunning.
She could pull it off though.
Pretty much. So in my remake, Marissa is the one who trains Hanna to be this killer. Like they're both working for the government. Marissa is training Hanna to be like this tough, trained assassin killer. Hanna doesn't know that she's been injected with any type of like things to enhance her ways and whatnot. And the two end up falling in love. All right.
Okay.
Now, when Hanna ends up meeting a guy named Eric and decides to marry him instead, Marissa gets jealous and kills Eric, and she goes into hiding. And so in my movie, Hanna is out to seek revenge on Marissa for killing the love of her life, Eric. And so she's onto Marissa, and you find out both women have a lot of the same skills. And so the big thing is the fight that's going to happen at the end. And there's still the past relationship of them being in love. So yeah, that's kind of like my idea for me. Make the characters a little bit older. I would say probably in their, 30s and 40s or something around there, a little older than having it be like young kids in the first movie of Hanna. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You remake it, but also change it enough. So that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do with the remake. So
yes,
I think you got that nailed down. All right. So before we close out, what I like to have people do, give that final pitch. If someone's still not sold on Hanna, how do you pitch it to someone that they need to see this movie?
Hanna, for me, is very much it's a fairy tale action movie. There's a lot of like motifs and a lot of fairy tale Easter egg themes going on with this movie. Basically, Hanna is Snow White, and her father is the woodsman who's hiding her away from the Wicked Witch. The Wicked Witch, of course, is Mr. Vigler, who's kind of the same Wicked Witch from Snow White. And she's in the hunt to try to find this fair maiden, because Hanna is supposed to be like this really perfect warrior creature and that Marissa just wants to attain. Marissa can't actually have kids of her own, and so she basically wants to find this woman. And so the woodsman, Eric's guy, is like sort of hiding Snow White, and Snow White in this movie is going to chase after the queen. She's not going to run away from the queen. She's actually going to fight the evil queen. And there's references to a lot of like Hans fairy tales. There's a whole sequence where you see like different characters and different shapes and how you call the word here, like outside artwork that have to do with fairy tale creatures and whatnot. It's an action movie, but the action scenes, like I said before, there's not that many of them, but when they are there, they're pretty tight. There's one action sequence that's done in one take that is pretty freaking amazing with the Eric Keller character. It's got the really great soundtrack from the Chemical Brothers. And I like the fact, too, that when the movie begins, there's really no score. There's not really, it's just all like sound landscapes and sound effects. It's not until we see Hanna in action is when the score kicks in, and it's actually pretty cool. And I love the fact that it's an electronic score, and that sort of matches who Hanna is in a way with her advancedness, and that's her advanced skills and whatnot. So yeah, as the only way I can really describe it, it's an action fairy tale movie. There's a lot of great sequences of Hanna coming to her own because she has been deprived of human contact. So it's also a great coming of age story too for Hanna. She's able to meet women her own age. She's able to like find boys and date and actually find real love with someone other than her father. And yeah, I think it's really good. It ends abruptly. I love it, and I hate it for that reason too. There's also some characters get introduced and then you never hear from them ever again, which is also kind of annoying. I know they turned this into a TV series, and
I have not watched that.
The Prime Network here, and it's okay, but it's the movie. It's exactly the same as the movie, just spread out for a season or so. You're much better off just watching a 2-hour feature. It goes by really fast. You know the whole story of it, and then you're done. If you like this story very much, I would say go and watch the TV series because they expanded it more. It's more serious. The movie has a lot more comedic elements than the TV series does. The TV series is just a straight drama. The movie has elements of action, drama, comedy, Man, that was a long way of telling people why to watch this movie, Josh. I apologize. I go
Hey,
all over the place.
You know what? You're selling it, and I like the fairy tale sell. Actually, that's pretty good. I like it.
It's a great action flick. It's like a little under 2 hours. It's just the perfect length. It's just what you want a movie to be. Get in, get out, tell the story, introduce the characters, be done. Yes.
Yeah, yes, I completely agree with that. All right, Vern, I think that's going to wrap this one up. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you online?
All right. Well, you can follow me on the Twitter sphere at cinema_recall. Check out our website, cinemarecall.net. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram. Don't forget to check out our Facebook group, the Cinema Recall Awesome Cinematic Club, called CRACK, CRACK. Cinema Recall Awesome Cinematic Club with a K. So you can join that, be a crackhead, and we'd love to have you on there. So yeah, you just find me on Facebook, Instagram, Cinema Recall. Type in your little interweb spears things there. Type in the name Cinema Recall. You can find us on like Google Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Most places you can find podcasts, we're there.
All right, and as always, you can follow the show at ynfmoviepod on Twitter and Instagram. We're also available pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to come back next week, as I'll have a different guest with a new movie, and who knows, it may become your next favorite movie. You guys take care. I'll talk to you next time.